Hello, welcome to the Getting to Know Maui number 5. I'm here today with Shaggy Jenkins. He's agreed to come on to the show. Hey Shaggy, how's it going today?
How's it going, Dave?
Hey, thank you for coming on, man. I want to just to show my appreciation, my how should I say, my gratitude by welcoming you for the Getting to Know Maui show, for Akaku, and also for the community of Maui.
It's kind of funny because I'm used to being on the other side of the interview with these things. You know, I always have to remember, don't ask questions of the guy asking questions. So, you know, hopefully I don't screw this up.
Oh, it's all right. You can ask questions if you want to.
Oh, okay.
But I just don't like to answer too much about myself, you know what I mean?
Okay. Where were you on the night of? No. Okay, let's not go there.
So where are you from, Shaggy?
Originally from Bessemer City, North Carolina. It's a very small suburb of a town called Gastonia, which is a suburb of Charlotte, which is a major metropolitan area. So, like, coming from there, I was basically trailer parks the youngest part of my life, and then inner city for the second part of my life, and somewhere in between there, I decided that Maui was where I needed to be. So I moved over here in 2003.
2003?
Mm-hmm. It's not been a decision that I've regretted ever, like ever. For one, like Maui and Bessemer City had one thing in common, which is everybody knows everybody. You have this sense of if your neighbors know your kids, well, that's your neighbor's kids too, and so on and so forth. And you travel around the country, because I've done radio for 17 years. You never saw that. And then when you come to Maui and you see it and it's everywhere, it's like, oh, I think I want to move here. So that's kind of why I did.
So you enjoy Maui?
I love Maui. There's really not too much to not like about it. Every so often you run into, oh, you feel like it's too small and it's too cramped. And you get these urges that you want to go see the world at large. But then the world at large is a pretty scary place when you turn on the news at night and you realize how safe and how friendly and just how much community there is. I really haven't found anything about Maui I don't like in the long run.
So what do you do on Maui nowadays?
Oh, God. What don't I do? I'm the operations director for visionary-related entertainment. That means that I have programming duties for 5 radio stations. That's pretty much my bread and butter. I've been in radio 17 years, so this is kind of the top of where you can go with that career. I do stand-up comedy. I've started trying to nurture some sort of comedy scene by having an open mic contest every week over at Mulligan's on the Blue. We do cash prizes. We try to encourage as many people to get into improv comedy and stand-up comedy as possible. We don't charge a cover because I want everybody that can to come out and support it. And that's kind of been like my big obsession right now is pursuing stand-up comedy and trying to create an actual scene on Maui. And there's a couple of guys out there that are doing it and are doing it well. There's like Chino LaForge, King Martin. You've probably heard these guys doing the Maui Celebrity Series, but they all came through from Tin Can, which is what I'm continuing to do and hope that people get in as interested in it as I am. I mean, comedy for me has always been a release. The world is way too serious. There's sometimes when you really just need to kind of take a balloon, take a pen and start picking the inflated balloons of the egos of the world and, you know, just laughing at yourself. And Maui, when I came here in 2003, you have comedians that'll come through from the mainland. You'll have comedians that come through from other islands, but you don't have any home base, Maui is my place of operating comedians. And it was something that I thought, like any place, I mean, yes, Maui is a tourist destination, but any city, any community, you need to have that forum where guys can step up on stage, grab a mic, and just, you know, let you have it for a moment. And that's one of the things that I'm really happy about is the Tin Can. And then there's, you know, there's other things that I do. I do some web work, I do some promoting and some marketing, but for the most part, it's comedy and radio every day.
Right on. So what do you enjoy most about radio?
Radio, okay, this is going to sound bad. Radio is the one place that I can feel happy to be ugly. You know how when you're looking at television and you see how you have these perfect A-types, you know, the guys with the six-packs, the women with the manufactured plastic parts, and they're all perfect and they're all proportional. And here it is, you grew up in a trailer park, and you know, the first time I asked a girl out, she told me, "You're too ugly for me to ever date." And it pretty much stuck with me my whole life. And radio was a chance for me to get away from physically being what you think you are and expressing what you really are. And with radio, I kind of just fell in love with music and being able to listen to music all the time. And also being able to remove myself from the picture and say, hey, this is what I do. You know, the guy you see behind the curtain really isn't important, but check out all this cool stuff. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz grown up.
You seem like you're doing perfectly fine on television to me, man.
Well, I tried to be calm. You know, with radio, nobody sees the fact that I have nervous twitches. Like, yeah, big ones. When I'm talking on the mic, I never sit. I never sit down. I'm constantly standing. I have this finger roll thing that I keep doing on the desk as I'm talking, and for some strange reason, I can't stop doing that. I've been doing that probably like 10 years, and people think I'm playing some sort of imaginary keyboard. But with radio, they don't see your tics. So you can, you know, really kind of act out the whole script, and it'll sound better, but nobody ever sees the actions behind it.
It reminds me of driving a truck, man. It's
Oof.
When you're on the CB, you can just sit there and talk, you know, and talk any way that you want to and do whatever you want to. But
nobody will ever know, and that's just it. One of the great things about, at least for me, for radio, is I am incredibly, and this is kind of funny, I'm incredibly shy in person. I'm like almost borderline social anxiety, and sometimes I do kind of slip into these little small panic attacks when I get around crowds. With radio, I was able to kind of have that attention that every person wants, and at the same time be removed from it so that when I clock out and I walk right out the door, nobody knows who I am. I can go grocery shopping, I can, you know, I can kind of enjoy my time. Now I have a daughter, so it's like kind of awkward at times when you're out and you're playing with your kid and somebody comes up, "Oh, Brada Shags," and you're going, he's off the clock. But it is the whole anonymity of it. With music, there's always this way of things expressing themselves. And as a DJ, you really just let your songs talk for you. So if you're in a mood for this, or if you're in kind of a crazy mood, you'll play this. And you never really have to come out of your own shell and express yourself. So it's, in a lot of ways, kind of compensated for my shyness, because I can kind of, you know, say, oh, this is a part of me, this is my job, but it's not really me, so I don't have to be afraid, which is kind of, when anybody asks me about like being on stage and doing radio and stuff, and I tell them that I have like really just sheer terror moments seconds before I step on stage or seconds before I cut on the mic, they think I'm crazy. But that's the way it's always been. I just and then it all goes away and I'm able to do my job.
So you get that last panic attack, kind of like an anxiety attack, and then it subsides.
Yeah, it's crazy to adapt to that, because like leading up to every show that I ever do, like even my daily show that I do on the radio, or like my talk show that we just started, where it's no music and it's just me talking for 2 hours, there's this day ahead of it where you're feeling antsy, you're feeling nervous, but at the same time you're going, okay, I'm a professional now, I've done this long enough, so I can plan out certain elements. No matter what you plan, no matter how much you try to calm yourself down, for me at least, 5 minutes before I know that I'm supposed to be on, the heart rate goes up, I start sweating, I just, you know, I lock up, I forget everything that I was planning the whole day, and all of a sudden the light goes on, the mic goes on, and I remember everything, and I'm calm. And it's kind of, it's almost like therapy, because, you know, imagine being the type of person where everything that you say, you feel awkward saying it. And that's kind of how it is for, you know, real shy people. You doubt your words a lot. And then you're in a business of like radio where your words mean everything. There's word economy, how much you can do in so many seconds, and how much information you can convey. So you kind of lose that part of yourself that's shy and nervous, because the logical side of your brain kicks over and says, no, we have to cover this and we have to do it in a timely manner. You know, work with me.
Right. Understood. Are there any projects for the future, immediate future?
Okay, so here's like one of the big things that I'm really trying to do. I want to do a comedy show of all Maui comedians, where it's not an open mic, where these are the guys that are starting the Maui comedy scene, and get together these guys that I've been working with. You know, I've mentioned Sunny D, I've mentioned King Martin, Chino LaForge. There's a couple of more like Anthony Mitchell, Chemo Rice, who is exceptionally talented. Like, I would love to put on a Maui comedy fest for all of these guys. And, you know, hopefully that'll pan out. I'm kind of just in the early stages of picking locations and stuff for that. And then there's the big pie in the sky idea I have. I have a computer show now, the talk show. It's called the 3G Show, Gadgets, Geeks, and Gamers, and we want to do a geek summit in Maui, because we think that technology shouldn't be scary and businesses shouldn't be so weary of people in Maui, and just put on an event where you come out, you have the guys with the actual tech, and they let you touch it, and they let you play with it, and they let you experiment and learn about it, so that, you know, the people realize that, one, being geek isn't so bad, and two, you know, don't be afraid of advancement in technology, which I think is something that in modern society we have a lot of Luddites, or people that are afraid of technology that are out there. So that's like the two big projects that I'd love to get done: the Maui Comedy Fest and the Geek Summit. And if I get those done, I'm going to retire. That'll be my life.
Well, Shaggy, thanks for coming on to the show, man.
Thank you.
I've got to go. We have one more guest for this one, number 5. Thank you for being here.